There are new bombshell claims today from royal insiders who say King Charles's cancer is incurable and he will likely die with the disease.
Prince William and Princess Anne didn't just step forward, they detonated a truth the palace had been holding together with whispers and denial. King Charles didn't simply fall ill, King Charles collapsed. Violently, suddenly, and in a way that ripped through the illusion of control the monarchy has clung to for decades. And the real shock? This wasn't a moment. It was a pattern, a hidden spiral. A crisis that had been building behind closed doors while the world watched polished smiles and perfect ceremonies. Prince William stood there, steady on the surface. But every pause betrayed something deeper. Princess Anne didn't bother hiding it. The tension in that room wasn't just about a health update, it was about a system breaking in real time. Because when Prince William confirmed that King Charles had lost consciousness completely unresponsive for critical minutes, the air changed. This wasn't fatigue. This wasn't temporary indisposition. This was something far more dangerous. Something the palace had tried to soften, rename, bury, and Princess Anne refused to let that happen. Why? Why did Princess Anne push so hard to expose the severity? Because Princess Anne already knew this wasn't the beginning. Princess Anne had seen the warnings. Weeks earlier, moments dismissed, signals ignored. And now, standing beside Prince William, Princess Anne wasn't just announcing a crisis, Princess Anne was confronting the consequences of silence. King Charles, stabilized but weakened, lay behind guarded doors. But here's the detail that hits harder than anything else. When King Charles regained awareness, King Charles didn't ask about the crown, the duties, or the endless machinery of monarchy. King Charles asked one question: had Prince William and Princess Anne been told? That single question cracked the entire fade. Because it revealed exactly who King Charles trusted when everything else fell away. But trust doesn't erase damage. And inside Windsor, the real story wasn't unfolding at the podium, it was unfolding in the rooms no camera could reach. Prince William wasn't preparing for a coronation. Prince William was trying to process how quickly strength had turned into fragility. Princess Anne wasn't thinking about protocol. Princess Anne was replaying every warning sign King Charles had brushed off with a laugh. And Queen Camilla sat alone, watching a future shift in front of her eyes, one she had never allowed herself to fully imagine. Because suddenly, the center of gravity had moved. That red dispatch box, silent, symbolic, devastating, was carried not toward King Charles, but toward Prince William. No announcement, no ceremony, just a quiet, unmistakable shift. And if you think that was procedural, think again. That was power moving without permission being asked. But here's where it gets darker. Princess Anne revealed something that changes everything. King Charles had been struggling for weeks. Breathlessness, dizziness, pressure, signals that weren't just ignored, they were actively dismissed. King Charles laughed them off. King Charles kept going. King Charles replaced rest with meetings, and every time Princess Anne pushed, King Charles pulled back harder. Why? Because stepping back meant admitting something the monarchy has always feared: vulnerability. And that fear turned into silence. Dangerous silence. Queen Camilla knew about at least one episode. Queen Camilla urged rest. But Queen Camilla also supported keeping it quiet. Was that loyalty? Or was that part of the problem? Because now Prince William sees that silence differently. Now Princess Anne sees it as a line that should never have been crossed. And then comes the detail that feels almost impossible to ignore. A rehearsal. A moment the palace labeled uneventful. But inside the confidential file Prince William later reads, the truth looks very different. King Charles, standing in St. George's Hall, suddenly gripping a chair, face draining of color, unable to respond when Princess Anne called out. 11 seconds. 11 seconds where the entire system should have stopped and didn't. Instead, doors closed, witnesses silenced. The moment rewritten as a delay. Why rewrite it? Why hide it? Because that was the real beginning. Not the collapse, not the announcement. The choice to pretend nothing had happened. And Princess Anne knew it. Princess Anne forced King Charles to be examined. Princess Anne threatened to shut everything down. King Charles agreed, but only just. And even after medical warnings, even after being told to slow down, King Charles did the exact opposite. Meetings returned. Schedules filled. The illusion stayed intact. Until it couldn't anymore. Now Prince William is standing in the aftermath of decisions he wasn't even allowed to know about. Now Princess Anne is carrying the weight of warnings that didn't land. And now Queen Camilla is standing outside conversations she once controlled. No aides, no doctors, no rehearsed language, just Prince William, Princess Anne. and King Charles, in a room where truth could no longer be delayed. And the moment Prince William placed that medical file beside the bed, the silence wasn't respectful anymore, it was confrontational. Because this wasn't a visit, this was an intervention that had been building for weeks, maybe longer. Prince William didn't ease into it. Prince William asked the question that had been hanging over everything. Why were Prince William and Princess Anne shut out? Why were warnings buried, while the system kept spinning like nothing was wrong? And King Charles, even in that weakened state, didn't surrender immediately. King Charles questioned how the file even left the medical office. That instinct to control, to contain, was still there. But this time, it didn't hold. Because Prince William wasn't standing there as an heir waiting politely. Prince William was already carrying government briefings, already handling decisions that should have never reached Prince William this way. And when Prince William said that protecting the institution without the truth was impossible, something broke through the surface. Not just frustration, betrayal. Princess Anne didn't soften it either. Princess Anne brought the past crashing into the present. The rehearsal, the promise to rest, the warnings ignored. And then that line sharp, unforgettable Princess Anne told King Charles that everyone had been forced to participate in denial. That wasn't just criticism, that was accusation. And King Charles stopped. Because for the first time, King Charles admitted something that reshapes everything. King Charles wasn't just hiding symptoms. King Charles was afraid. Afraid that stepping back would prove the crown didn't need King Charles as much as King Charles needed the crown. That fear wasn't political. It was deeply personal. And when Prince William answered that being needed and being loved are not the same thing, it cut through decades of royal conditioning in a single moment. That was the turning point. King Charles didn't sign anything immediately. The pen hovered, then stopped. But outside that room, something irreversible was already happening. The red dispatch boxes, those silent carriers of authority, stopped going to King Charles. They started going to Prince William, quietly, without ceremony, but with absolute meaning. Power had shifted, even if the title hadn't. By morning, Windsor wasn't operating the same way. Prince William took control of external duties, government communication, national representation. Princess Anne stepped in to stabilize the internal machine staff, schedules, cancellations. It looked orderly. Controlled, but underneath, tension was rising. Because Queen Camilla wasn't going to stay silent. Queen Camilla confronted Princess Anne directly. Why were decisions being made without Queen Camilla? And Princess Anne didn't hesitate. Stability came before grief. That answer wasn't gentle. It was strategic, and Queen Camilla heard what wasn't being said, that emotion was now a liability inside a system trying to survive. But then came the moment that shifted Queen Camilla's position entirely. A recorded instruction from King Charles himself. Clear, undeniable authority handed to Prince William for external duties. Responsibility given to Princess Anne for the household. And Queen Camilla, not leading, not directing. Watching, that wasn't punishment. But it felt like exclusion, and as if that wasn't enough, the second warning hit. A brief disturbance. Less than a minute. But enough to erase any illusion that this was temporary. Across every royal residence, the effect was immediate. Engagements vanished, plans collapsed, movement slowed. Because suddenly, this wasn't recovery, it was uncertainty stretching into weeks, maybe longer. And inside that pressure, Prince William faced something even heavier. George asked the question no one wanted spoken out loud: would Prince William become king? And in that moment, everything collided. Duty, family, fear. Because Prince William wasn't stepping into power through ceremony, Prince William was being pushed into it through crisis. Meanwhile, behind another closed door, King Charles recorded a message, not polished, not perfect, honest, thanking Prince William, thanking Princess Anne, admitting mistakes, admitting fear. And when King Charles said that duty had to be shared, that truth had to be spoken, it wasn't just a statement, it was an admission that the old way had failed. And from that moment, the monarchy didn't collapse. It adapted. Prince William became the visible force. Princess Anne became the stabilizer. Queen Camilla stepped back into something quieter, something less controlled, but more real. And King Charles remained king, but no longer alone at the center.